What do you make of these changes? Is Hong Kong selling its soul for mammon?
Well, it is for the money, frankly, for business and money.
But not the soul, all right.
Well, more than 3 years ago when Alibaba came to Hong Kong and said, oh, I want to list in Hong Kong, except that I want a special deal. I want to keep this variable voting rights. When the SFC torpedoed the application, Alibaba went to list in New York. And then on his listing, he said, 10 years ago, when I came to New York, nobody cared about me. Now I'm listing. And he has been saying the same thing to Hong Kong. Well, for 3 years, 4 years ago, you don't want me to list here. Now you want me to list. I think it's for the money, because all the investment banks want the money, want the big fees. And then after listing, Alibaba's trading volume was something like 60 billion Hong Kong dollars a day. It's like, at times, it's like half of the exchange's turnover. So everybody missed that money. So now, and after 3 years, people have second thoughts and then lobby the government to change SFC's stance. And SFC gave way in order for Alibaba and companies like that to list.
So are there actual implications for market integrity?
Well, throw away the integrity, come on. all the countries in the world, all the exchanges in the world sacrifice minority rights in order to get business. It is an unconscionable act by all the different countries in the world, like USA and Hong Kong and Singapore. Everybody just want the money. They want a listing like Facebook, Google, etc. They want the business to help with minority protection. Right now, there are very little complaint because these companies are doing well. When these companies start to go bad, when one of these CEOs try to steal money from the company, then all hell will break loose because you have no way of getting rid of them.
You leave me speechless, Francis. We're going to see an influx of some of these, like the Ant Financials,
Yeah, definitely. I think in the pipeline there are already 5 big ones, like Ant Financial, the finance arm of Ping An and Xiaomi. Xiaomi will be the first one to list, but I don't particularly like Xiaomi because it is a very competitive handset business, which is already saturated. So I don't see too much future in it. And of course, the biggest one will be Huawei, which is still a private company. If we list in Hong Kong, it will be the biggest.
If its problems don't deepen, it'll...
Yeah, that's right. There are many ifs. There are many ifs. But well, in order for Hong Kong to compete with NASDAQ, I think Hong Kong has to do this.
So, Francis, there is one aspect of it, which is that does this then elevate the Hong Kong market? It's always been a global place. It's had more companies, etc., and a huge market capitalization. But does it bring it up to the big boys? Well,
yes, it does, in terms of turnover, because Hong Kong is still way behind in turnover. It's only like $100 billion a day. So it's really in the minor leagues. It's not in the big leagues. We need to 10 times increase our turnover by 10 times in order to compete with the big boys. And when the Hong Kong Exchange tried to pitch to Saudi Aramco, one of the first hurdles they encountered was that your turnover is just too slow, too low. How can you digest such a big listing? I think that's what we need. We need depth in the turnover.
What are the implications for funding costs then?
Well, I don't think that will be a big problem because ever since 2008, Hong Kong has an influx of liquidity from the mainland players. At times, it reaches something like 300 billion Hong Kong dollars.
There'll be a short-term crunch.
Yeah, there'll be a short-term crunch, but not a long-term crunch.
Could it ironically sort out the problems with the Hong Kong dollar peg as well? Because you might have some implications for HIBOR, which might lift rates up, which might actually alleviate pressure on the peg itself of being so weak. It might strengthen the Hong Kong dollar a bit.
Well, knowing the mentality of the bureaucrats, the last thing they want to tampered with is something that has been stable for the last 40 years. They will not do it. I can bet my life on it. They will not change the peg.
So where do we go from here? So all these IPOs in the pipeline, you say the money will come, not necessarily, it's not going to come from Hong Kong itself, it's going to come from other places, but some is definitely going to be coming from here. So are there implications for people rotating stocks and getting out of some stocks so they can afford to buy into these IPOs?
Well, definitely they will buy Hong Kong Exchange stock because it will go up, and then there will be more job openings in the investment bankers and the brokerage industry, and they will hire more salesmen to sell all these listings.
So you like HAX, you say you don't like Xiaomi. What else do you like? What about the healthcare, you know, the iCarbon X, the Good Doctor?
Yeah, I like the Ping An Good Doctor. But of course, with any internet venture, the problem is that the threshold of entry is so slow. Anybody, you and me, can start one. There's no barrier to entry. So you have to be the dominant one, and then you kick everybody out of the business, and then you make money. So the challenge for Ping An Good Doctor is that how can they become the dominant online medical service provider in China? I think that is the challenge.
Now, we also got We Doctors as well, haven't we? So they're doing great guns too.
Yeah,
Jeff
that's
Chen,
right.
of course, who's the strategist there, and she's CIO, COO, effectively.
Yeah.
There's more than enough room for two,
it's a
three
massive
players.
market.
Well, theoretically, there is, but surprisingly, in the internet business, you only have one Google, one Facebook, and all that. You don't have two operators. The second one will be eliminated, surprisingly.
But not in a situation like that. It would be like, for instance, various travel companies. You know, it's not quite the same as Facebook is a unique proposition, as is indeed Twitter. And but something that Good Doctor or We Doctors do, you know, is. It's offering the same thing. You can compete on that level.
Yeah, theoretically it is, but of course it's too early for me to say that. What will happen, but I think given that the barrier of entry is so low, that anybody can get in, so they face real competition pressure in the near future.
And Francis, we've also got a bit more progress in this story about China's securities regulator allowing foreign firms to take this majority stake in local securities joint ventures. Do you think this is a game changer, or is it sort of?
Well, definitely.
Yeah.
I think up to now, I think UBS is the only one with a controlling interest in the broker. Now it really opens the floodgate. So I think a lot of these mid-sized security firms will be taken over by foreign companies like Goldman Sachs or Morgan Stanley. I think it is a game changer. It's a major concession because there are only about 100 securities brokers in China. There's not really that many compared with 600 in Hong Kong.
Does it improve the quality of the market? Is that one way of improving the development and the sophistication of the market?
Yeah, definitely. I think foreign brokers will certainly add more depth to the industry and more business, and it's a development for the better part.
One of our Gadfly columnists, Anjani Trivedi, was on the other day talking to us about how the way that they're opening it up to foreign companies going on the wrong metrics, as it were.
The wrong metrics?
Not looking actually the strength of these institutions, but just how big they were in terms of their net asset value.
Yeah, they are quite big, but don't forget, ever since 2015, all these brokers are operating under strict government rules, and they come under really severe scrutiny from the Securities Exchange of China. And actually, they have terrible business for the past 3 years. And if a foreign broker comes in, buys into them, it will increase the business, maybe double the business. So they would welcome it.
Yes, I think we have a few caveats on that one, Francis. Thank you. Francis Lun there from GEO Securities, where he is the CEO.